3 traitors came over the horizon on the black Scottish hills. All 3 headed for the turret, and one of them was to die before morning.
The Traitors is a social seduction and manipulation game show originally started in the Netherlands and is now popular worldwide. It's an interesting case study in how people are easily manipulated and ruled by their biases. Outside the boisterous personalities and fabulous outfits, it's just a plain psychological thriller, sometimes horror. In particular, it's amusing and alarming to watch members of the law enforcement community and mental health professionals get hoodwinked and manipulated on a regular basis. The number of times the fuzz are certain that they've gotten the right perp and get it completely and utterly wrong. We do like to dunk on the police on this channel. Try not to think about how the human fallibility on full display on this game show may affect the legal justice system.
Diet Coke presents Crack the Code for real refreshment.
For those that don't know, the game consists of 2 teams. I use the word teams loosely. The Faithfuls and the titular Traitors. Each episode, all contestants participate in a game show style game for chances to win money for a pot allocated to the winners at the finale of the show. During and following money accumulation, there is a bevy of watching and scheming as the Faithfuls attempt to root out the traitors among them. The traitors, meanwhile, attempt to trick and bamboozle the Faithfuls, either to protect themselves or to throw another contestant under the bus. Then comes the round table, an agonizing, highly edited accusation boogaloo as the contestants argue, debate, whine, moan, obfuscate, and manipulate each other over who a traitor is. They usually get it wrong. Mathematically speaking, this is often the most likely outcome. Fingers point, people are blamed, and the Faithfuls return the next day to vote against their best interest, just like the general public often does. In the scenario the Faithfuls do get it right, it's usually because someone on Team Traitors realized that their mate is getting too much heat. They realize it's more advantageous to give the Faithfuls blood and to throw their mate under the bus. At this point, the cost of protecting the bad traitor might be too great, and they risk making themselves look suspicious. Generally speaking, when a traitor is voted out, it's usually the best time to gather pertinent information that can bag another traitor. Unfortunately, most competent Faithfuls are usually voted out early, and the remaining lemmings just tend to vote for people they don't like despite sus behavior from the people they do like. Humans act like it's a constant popularity contest. Colour me shooketh. However, that is not the mission statement. I myself have been devouring episode after episode of the anglophonic versions of the Traitors. My mind can barely handle the cortisol that this gosh darn show has put me through. The show and the people in it are nuanced, loud, and messy. You know what isn't nuanced and messy? Numbers. As I was smoking my medical cannabis and watching show after show till my brain turned into pancake batter, I thought to myself, what's the best way to make money on this cursed reality TV show? Which English-speaking versions of the show were the most lucrative? Which team was often more successful? And maybe, an uncomfortable question, does one's demographic significantly impact one's ability to win the show? I sank into my computer in a Santa Monica haze in God writing. The people must know.
Don't worry, dear viewer, I did the maths. And in addition, to add some flavour, I also included the German series of Traitors in the data, because A, I think Germany is cool, and B, I am learning Sie Deutsch. I'm a massive Germanophile. In the context of the game show, Germany being a Western country such as the UK or Canada is not going to be too dissimilar, so I'm quite happy to throw them in with the rest of the data set, which are all Anglophonic, and of course the United States kind of does its own thing. They're very interesting, but I'm sticking them in anyway because America F, yeah? So, I wanted to know, which countries were the most lucrative to individual players? Which genders had more winners overall? And of course, the big question, which team toddled off to victory more than the other? We all know what the common belief is, but I wanted to verify and crunch the numbers.
Is that all there is? It's kind of simple, isn't it? You sure all the good stuff hasn't sunk to the bottom? Well, where's the buried treasure? There's no mystery. Sip. This is just flake.
What data range did I use? Again, I decided to use Germany, as well as the USA, the UK, New Zealand, Australia, and Canada. I used the first 3 seasons for this show, with the exception of New Zealand and Australia. The former because Middle-earth is at war again, and the latter, well, 3 words. Aussie Ted Bundy. We will talk about him and the Shakespearean tragedy that is Season 2 Australia of the Traitors another time. Now, to keep everything consistent, I converted all the money into US dollars, because they're still the hegemon. For now. The maximum prize for each country in US petrodollars: Germany around 60,000, the USA $250,000, the UK around 165,000, New Zealand around 42,000, Australia $174,000, and Canada $73,000. But this does not mean players always earn the max cash pot, and of course, winnings can be split with other players on your team. Firstly, I bunged the numbers to visualize who on average tended to earn the most money for individual players via country. It's no surprise that players from countries with objectively larger potential cash payouts tended to out-earn their colleagues in other countries. USA Season 3 can be deceiving, as Four Faithfuls won that spectacular season. The cash prize of $300 was split 4 ways. In some countries, traitors cooperated well together and split cash prizes more, such as Germany, where all 3 seasons had traitor victories with more than one traitor. The Deutschies apparently work well as a team, even whilst ostensibly being the baddies. The Brits couldn't get a team traitor victory until Season 4, which was left out of the dataset due to the secret traitor mechanic, which will be addressed in the future. The ability to work together and win as a team of traitors seems to be the standard in Germany, whereas players from other countries appear to be more likely to squabble and betray each other. Interesting. Just food for thought.
So, mein Schatzis, if you actually want to win the show as a traitor on a team that bloody works together, then you better start learning German and hope that the R&D gods get you on the show as a traitor. If you don't give a toss about your teammates and are in it for the money, you should try to lean into the countries with objectively larger cash pots, which are the UK, the USA, and Aussie land. Unless, of course, you're unfortunate enough to play with Aussie Ted Bundy. In which case he'll psychologically violate you and make you feel cold and dead inside, mate. Seriously, this guy is such a prick. The producers devised the Traitors dilemma just to make sure that this twat didn't win the game and walk away with the cash prize. Season 2, Australia. Nobody walked away with the bloody money because this narcissistic sociopath ruined the game. That bad. He nuked the show so bad with his serial killer-esque shenanigans and nefarious that the show has been in hiatus in that country ever since. Seriously, like, such bad vibes that they are currently on hiatus, but I've heard rumors that they are going to come back. Seriously, screw that guy. Siri, the Schwarz goddess of chaos and deceit, completely dominated her fellow players both emotionally and mentally, and walked away as a solo traitor with the $250,000 cash pots. Season 1 USR. I genuinely believe that she is the best, if not the best, traitor I have seen on the show. It's truly spectacular. Traitors 101. I will at some point dedicate a video essay just to her, Siri. I've seen people go wild over Rachel's team traitor win in the UK and have heralded it as the first traitor lady victory in the UK. I suppose that is true. Technically, it is true. She is the first lady to win civilian UK traitors, but be that as it may, that's excluding all the other punk rock ladies that were traitors in all the other series, notably Germany. And it's a crying shame that a lot of these ladies are left out of the conversation, I think. They walked so Rachel could run.
Oh, Siri, please notice me, senpai.
And a beautiful supply of beer, like Keystone, the premium cold filtered beer in a can. It tastes like beer in a bottle because of Keystone's specially lined can.
But the question that many people ask, are traitors really more likely to win the game? I crunched the numbers from my dataset and put it into a pretty little graph. Here comes as no surprise, but it would appear that traitors are indeed more likely to win, but it's not necessarily a devastating advantage. Traitors won 54.2% of the time and the Faithfuls 45.8%. The traitors do indeed have an edge, but victory is by no means guaranteed and strong Faithfuls can clean house. Kiwis in particular seem to be talented traitor hunters, and in Season 2 the traitor victory was marginal, and it was only a single traitor that won. Bailey played very well as a Faithful before that, and was only turned traitor because of producer shenanigans. Germany and the USA has produced the most successful traitors, whilst the UK and Canada have produced the most successful Faithfuls. I guess Germans and Americans are good at lying.
The American seasons are just plain feral, mate.
Brits and Canadians appear to work well as faithful teams. I can't say either country really produces a large amount of good traitor hunters. They tend to be voted off. I guess the country just has an oversupply of goody two-shoes. Again, I am shooketh. And lastly, who is better at the game? The boys or the girls? It must be stated that there were also non-binary players present, however I do not believe any one at the time of recording, so the graph is a boy-girl graph. This may change in future graphs. women tend to be better at the game, especially in Germany and the United States. The Brits are kinda even, and Canada is the only country in this set where the lad winners outnumber the ladette winners. I will leave it to the great minds of the Traitors subreddits to figure out why. I personally think women are more emotionally intelligent and will do better in this devious game of vibes. So, for your best chances of winning, become a woman and play as a traitor in either America or Germany. America if you don't care about your teammates and want that bag. Germany is lower in terms of money, but it's more consistent with its team dynamics. It's the safer option.
If you live in Great Britain, like me, and wish to play the game show, my personal advice is to actually play as a faithful. Whilst it is true that the traitors do tend to win more overall, the faithfuls, at least in the UK, tend to work pretty well together on a team. And furthermore, if they're not busy being donuts and incorrectly accusing and hunting each other and actually consistently putting money in the cash prize, a lot of the time they clean house, and they have done in several seasons. In this case, it's the safer option, but I think it's the safer option worth taking, especially on a very stressful show like this. You wouldn't catch me dead on that stressful show. I'm not including the data and the numbers from Season 4 UK of the Traitors yet, because I'm not quite certain how the secret traitor mechanic might affect results at this stage. So I want to see future shows that use this mechanic more before I use it and extrapolate with it. Certainly, Rachel and Stephen won together on Team Traitor, but this appears to be the exception rather than the rule. Traitors don't tend to work well together in the British Isles.
Naturally, with all data and statistics, the more numbers you have to work with, the better it is, and the more accurate the results will be. But I will need to watch more traitors.
Well, I hope you certainly enjoyed that breakdown of some of the burning questions with lovely visual aids that you might have had about the traitors. I certainly had a lot of fun researching this video essay for Down the Rabbit Hole, and I will certainly make more content concerning the game of vibes in the future. I'm your host, Paris Rivers. Thank you for watching.